जो भी कसमें खाई थी हमने, वादा किया था जो मिलके, तूने ही जीवन में लाया था मेरे सवेरा। क्या तुम्हें याद है, क्या तुम्हें याद है, क्या तुम्हें याद है?
Good afternoon, everyone. I have something important to talk about, not just for myself, but for all other people who struggle with this. Yesterday, I was watching a video by Matthew Hussey. So, for those who don't know, Matthew Hussey is a British blogger, dating and relationship expert, and I think his channel is really very interesting. His videos are very captivating because it's not just about finding a man or finding a partner, but I think that he's also about being okay with not finding that romantic love. And how do we navigate through that? Because let's face it, most of us, we have that craving. We want to find someone because since we were children, we have been fed this idea that you are somehow incomplete without a partner. That I think most little girls growing up, we had that. For us, looking at the bride was like looking at a princess. So she's coming in her lovely gown with all attention on her, and she just looks perfect. It is a very filmy kind of ideal where you meet your prince and you get married and you have kids and life is happy ever after. It's a very normal thing for every single man and woman to desire that and to feel down at times when it doesn't happen. There are many people who perhaps they are happily single out of choice, but I am very candid and honest. I am not single by choice. I wanted to get married. I still want to get married really, really badly because I feel like life is more beautiful with the right kind of partner. I do certainly, I would love to spend my life with someone who is my best friend, my companion, my lover, my protector, my just a life companion in general. I will not pretend that I love being single. I admit that it gets lonely at times, and especially when you think about the long-term future, I think none of us would want to die alone. So I'm not going to pretend that it doesn't bother me because it does. Having said that, I have had perhaps not relationships, but I have known men in the dating phase or in the as in acquaintances considering each other for marriage. And I don't know, every time I often find myself in toxic relationships that just feel very draining. And what bothers me is that nowadays we have that it is very normal to be getting to know someone for ages without having a label on it. So many guys and girls, they seem to be very okay with that concept, like dating and not really knowing where this is going to lead. But I am a very not no nonsense person, and my time is very precious. So if you are not interested in committing to me, then I don't understand what we are doing together. Why at 28 years old I don't have the energy, the time, or the desire to be texting someone, and just it is very meaningless, like it's not going anywhere. Of course, you need to know someone and you need to know if they are compatible with you. But I always use that example. You know, long ago in our grandparents' or parents' time, people used to get to know each other once or twice, or they were just getting to exchange the basic information, and that was enough. It was more than enough. And nowadays, you see people like getting to know each other for ages. Some people have known each other for 4, 5, 6, 7 years, and even then, the relationship breaks. So I don't think that just by dating someone forever it means that the marriage is going to be a success, because it has clearly not been for many people. So I totally don't agree with that concept of how much time do you need to know someone. I am a very cards on the table kind of person. So I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but if I will meet a guy, I will be telling him everything that he needs to know. And of course, I don't need to tell him everything either, but you get my point. At some point, he has to be man enough to decide what he's going to do. So it's either yes or it's a no. It can't be forever like in a suspense. This is what I find extremely draining. And yesterday itself, I was watching one of my favorite YouTubers named Brini Lee. So Brini Lee was talking about high value women. And you have to be honest here. If you're watching my content and you are a high value man or woman, you have to accept that it will be extremely difficult for you to find a life partner. Why? Because most people, they are not going to perhaps analyze, they are not going to expect the best. They are just going to settle for whatever they get. So many people are in toxic relationships, or even if the relationship is not toxic, it's just very superficial and meaningless. I am a very deep person and I'm a very sensitive person. So for me, whatever that I do, I have to feel that the intensity is there. I am a very intense person. So when I am in a relationship, I can't be giving 20%. I have to give my at least more than 50%. So if the person is not replicating that energy and he's in fact giving me negative energy back, so I will never be bothering to keep that contact, on. And I've never been hesitant to break up or break off when the need for it has arisen. I guess, yeah, I do feel extremely lonely and disappointed and heartbroken when I see other people getting married and other people in relationships, having kids. I will not deny I'm a human being. Of course, I feel jealous from time to time and I feel like it's so unfair. I question God, like why do they say that your time has not come? So when the time is going to come? I don't think it has anything to do with God. It's just like life is like that. You don't get everything that you want, and life is not always fair. But I try to tell myself that the universe loves me and wants to protect me. So maybe I think that I will feel better when I have a husband or a life partner, which I'm sure I will. But the reality, guys and girls, let's face it, we are living in a digital age where now everyone is communicating with everyone, especially on social media. Like the majority of guys that I know of 30 years old, like in their 30s, in their early 30s, they are very, very immature. They are not even looking for commitment. They are just very uncertain about their own future. They are hesitating. They want to keep their options open. It's not very attractive. It's not very reassuring, and it's certainly not worth it. These men, they just want to keep wasting your time, most of them. And if you do happen to meet genuinely great guys, which do exist, by the way, you have to be attracted to them. So if you're not attracted to a man, I don't think you can marry that person, because how are you going to be intimate with a person that you are not even attracted to? This is something which is very important, I believe. Even if you consider it from an Islamic perspective, as I am a Muslim, it is very important. You can't tell me that your husband is not your brother. So of course that element is very important. I have come to terms with my reality now, that the more intelligent you are, the more you are self-respecting, the more you expect high quality relationships, and the more you're looking, how would I say that, the more you're trying to become the best version of yourself, which I also am. So of course you will not want to settle for any Tom, Dick and Harry. Of course, when you notice certain red flags, you find certain disturbing shortcomings, and when the guy disrespects you, of course you will walk away. There is nothing more, perhaps this is a sign of bravery. You should feel proud of yourself because you are brave enough, unlike certain girls who are so desperate that they are willing to be treated like shit. I see it happening all the time, both men and women, but perhaps girls more. Like they are so desperate to be in a relationship or to get married that they will throw their self-respect out of the window. They don't care if the man in question is treating them really poorly. But this is something that perhaps I am content that so far I have not made a catastrophic choice by getting married to the wrong person. So I don't know what's in the future. Do I want to get married? And yeah, I don't want to make it like an obsession, because it's true, like lately in my life, people have been reminding me constantly, and I have been feeling that pressure that maybe life is all about that. Like there is nothing else that is really a sign of success apart from having a husband and making children. Yeah, I do believe that it would be amazing. Like I said, if the man in question is very loving, kind, generous, and mature, and he is someone who makes your life way more interesting and easier, then of course you should get married. The problem, at least in my case, is that most men nowadays, they don't want to, like, the word commitment doesn't come to them. They will be texting you every day, calling you, talking to you, whatever they can do, flirting with you and doing all kinds of things. But when it comes to marriage, like, why don't you just propose to a woman if you like her? There is no use telling me you like me and just calling me or talking to me or whatever, and then you still don't bring the topic of marriage. So what are we doing here? We are no longer 5 years old, so I'm not playing this game. Unfortunately, I'm not playing this game. There are many times where I have told guys to just F off, because I'm sorry, I don't want to sound aggressive, but I really love myself. I want the best for me. For me, there is no bigger proof of love than commitment. It's as simple as that. I don't know why they are hesitating. If you're hesitating, I have never asked you to build a castle or a mansion or to give me a diamond ring. I've just asked for commitment. Commitment is free. It doesn't cost a thing, right? So for me, my conclusion is that these women, like, I'm 28 years old, guys of my age or perhaps in their early 30s, they are not suitable partners at all. Especially in today's world, they have left their brains behind. They just want to have an easy single bachelor life. Like, they want to have fun and to have that pleasure and to have a woman in their life, but they don't want the commitment part. So I'm really sorry, not sorry, but I'm way happier being single and loving my own self and treating myself right, rather than being with a man who just gives me 2% of himself. So these are just a few of my unfiltered thoughts, not aimed towards anyone specific, but just because I feel like I need to remind myself of that. I've been doing that mistake of thinking that I am like an incomplete puzzle, and that I will be complete only when a man marries me and loves me. By the way, on a final note, the only thing that I can tell you, and I can tell myself, when a man will love you, you will not have to overthink. You will not feel these red flags. You will not feel uncertain, worried, anxious, and you will not have that anxiety. It will feel like a big relief, and he will be eager to commit to you. He will be really doing everything that he can to be with you. He will be afraid of losing you. So don't settle for these low quality people who are not even making you happy. It's not worth it. Just stop thinking about marriage and love and romance. Just be in a loving relationship with yourself and God. Believe me, things will get better. Some people forget that they have brains, so they never use them.